You want to go
But
to the Let's Fix It segment?
moving on to the Let's Fix It segment.
Hold on. Just wanted to do a dork moment over there. Royal, awesome shirt.
Thank you.
I just noticed it, and we've been on the call for God knows how long.
What can people do to be more responsible when it comes to having children? I feel like we talked about some of those things, but you guys have anything to add?
We tested that pretty thoroughly.
I feel like we touched it pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So nothing to add?
Should we roll a dice and pick something else?
No, I can move to the next segment if nobody has anything to add.
More responsibly, maybe you should look at your partner and see if you actually vibe well with their personality before you have sex with them. Stop seeing a woman as a wet hole.
More than a year.
Giggity.
Yes. I do feel like that should be a thing too. If y'all, if you're gonna put stipulations on something, put stipulations on how long a person should date another person before they decide if this person is somebody that they want to have kids with. You have to know them.
Like 90 days, most jobs you can't get insurance. 90 days, you ain't fucking me.
You ain't work for the government, I can tell you that.
No, I work for the medical system. I'm getting fucked every day.
You sign up first day, you're getting insurance.
I literally just
you gonna get fucked somehow. That's just how that works.
I literally had tuberculosis pumped into me.
I feel like people should, I ain't gonna say be forced, but we should have some things, classes or something into play to teach us how to connect with each other when it comes to relationships. Because I feel like relationships is a big part of our society. Having relationships with each other, creating families is a huge part of it. So there should be more classes that teach us how to choose good partners for ourselves, and how to show us what to look for, how to determine this. And of course we know it's going to be different for everybody because all of us are different, but I feel like there's basics that they could teach people how to like pick out a good partner for themselves, because I feel like people are terrible at picking partners. Very, very much terrible at it. People, we just go with who we like. I like them.
That should be added to, those kind of things should be added to grade school curriculum, and along with a lot of other things, in order to get a child to understand how the world works and have interpersonal relationships. Just like conflict resolution should be a thing as well. How to deal with these things should really already be in the school system instead of the Common Core crap we teaching them now.
Because it's a huge part of our society. It's a huge part of what we do as adults, but it's not taught to us. It's something that we have to figure out. And then you have we're dealing with so many mistakes, people making the wrong decisions and having to deal with that in whatever way. But I feel like knowing how to have relationships and knowing how to create that, knowing how to read a person to decide if they're a good partner for you should be something that we learn in school. And not starting, I feel like because they forbid us from having feelings until we get a certain age, they set us back. They set us back a whole lot. So when we become adults and it's time for us to have serious relationships, we don't know what we're doing. Because we've been forbidden to, you can't talk to this boy for whatever reason. You can't talk to this girl for whatever reason. You should be focusing on your schoolwork or whatever. You should be focusing on relationships. And then when you get 18, now they hounding you about getting married and having kids. But I don't even know how to have a relationship because you was trying to keep me away from people all my life.
See, like I just saw a TikTok. It was about Mo. I think I saved it. I'll send it to all of you. And it said like, oh, you go back in time. You 20 years old. It's time to have kids. You about to die. Oh, you're 40 years old. You're a grandpa. Nowadays, you're 30. I ain't ready for kids. I got plenty of time. Just the difference in age groups when they say you should settle down and have kids. And some of us, like me, I've always been the family type. I've always wanted to settle down. I always want to have my own kids. And that's not tribe influence. That's not parent influence. I don't know what in my brain decided me wanted to have a family. I'm a breeder, as some people would say it.
You're human.
It's like, it's what I desired. I want to have kids. It's not even me thinking about my mortality or anything like that. And it's like, and then like, my parents are all boomers because they had me late in life. They're telling me, oh, you're this years old. Why don't you have this yet? Why don't you have this yet? I'm like, well, I haven't met the right partner. It's like, if you ever heard of read The Crucible. If you haven't read that, there's also a show called Salem. Because a crucible is an item that can hold your heat without cracking. Just like we all hope to find out one partner that can handle us at our worst, and not just blow us when we're easy. Because when I date someone, my dogs are trained in fucking Cree. Sorry. Anyways, point I'm trying to make is when I date someone, I don't ask them the best thing they did. I ask them to tell me what's the worst thing you ever did. And that's what I'm going to love them from. What's the worst thing you ever did? I want to know your flaws, not what you did good. I don't want your trophies. I want your petty moments. But
I do feel like we get blinded by that, the victories, the good stuff. Oh, they're good at this, they're good at that, or whatever. But like when it comes to the bad stuff, we find out in the midst of the relationship.
Oh, Boonie has a house. She has 3 cars. She has a steady job. She makes 3 figures. But now you don't meet her standards because you ain't got none of that. And you're salty for it. So that's like when I'm dating, I don't let anyone know what I have, what I do for a career. My goal being a nurse, me being a nurse, that was an absolute fucking accident. She's from Louisiana.
When people ask me to tell me about myself, I don't do it. I say you will figure that out while we're getting to know each other. Because I feel like when tell me about yourself, like what, tell me a little about yourself. It's surface level. And I learned that whenever I answer that question, it doesn't get deeper than that.
I think the first thing I ever asked you
unless it was me.
Yeah.
Fuck Sasuke.
You have I have proof of what happens when you actually engage me in real conversation, right? People who don't do that, you don't get far. You ask me that question, tell me about yourself, and I answer you, it's curtains for you after that.
like I said, like, you need to call me or video chat me, because all those the TikToks, it's like reply to this message. I'm scrolling up. Which one am I answering?
Because we do be having a lot of messages.
Well, we have good talks, and I've never been hitting on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Our first conversation was in like Creole, then we started talking about the Chia clan. But that's my part.
But yeah, I feel like that's something we need to know how to pick partners, because we're not good at that. And I feel like it never was, because all they did was focus on material things, what you could get from their family, like what they owned and what weight did their name carried and stuff like that. It was never who they are as a person. So we still carrying that now.
It's basically business transactions. What can they do
for
you?
Yeah, it's like like everyone's like, I've had this happen a lot in my life, in my dating experience. Oh, he's native. He gets this for free. He gets this for free. He gets this free. You're not coming here for what's in my head. You're coming here for what benefits I get from my ancestry. And it ain't that much.
I feel like people usually, you can't help but to look for a way that a person benefits you, but it shouldn't be all material things. It should be how they compliment you. If they make you feel comfortable in your skin and you're not always worried about, if they see this part of me, they may not like me, or if you work well with that person when it comes to certain things. It's just certain things that I look for in people when I'm talking to them. Like, from the very moment that you approach me, I already know where this is going. If it has potential to be more or not, I already know just by how you approach me. If you approach me on some, I want to get to know you. We ain't getting nowhere.
That's right. Like when I pick my partners, my whole goal is, can I lay my head in your lap and cry like a little kid, and you don't think I'm like a little man, like a little kid? Can I, lay my head on your lap, stretch out, and go to sleep without you thinking he's a little bitch?
My whole thing is, if you see me as a person and not just a trophy, like this pretty person that I can look at, but you see me as a human being with feelings that you actually care about, ideas that you actually care about, because I got a lot of them. I'm a person who I feel like is very complex. Like, there's a lot to me, but if all you see is somebody that looks good on your arm, it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work for me.
That's where the gender war runs in. People want a trophy girlfriend, and then they want that manly man. But a man mostly wants his partner to be his piece, when he don't have to worry about fighting or being tough all the goddamn time.
There's different definitions for that, though. When the man say, "I want my peace," sometimes that means that I want a safe space. Sometimes that means I want to run over you. You just have to know.
You're right. I didn't think of that.
You gotta create peace to also get it, though.
You definitely do. You definitely do. You can't be out here waging war and expecting somebody to be like, "You just called me a bee, but I'm gonna just ignore that and let me run you a bath. Let me do this. Let me do that." That's not how it works.
I'll say, I've never called my girlfriend a bitch, ever. And for me, if you managed to push me to that point, you probably went through talking about every sacred point for me even to start thinking about it. It's like how some men or women will just keep trying to poke all of your buttons because they know where your buttons are, trying to get a reaction out of you. Kind of how some women, I'm sorry to say it this way, will poke a man because you can't hit me. You can't hit me.
It's fact. That ain't, you ain't gotta apologize for that. That's true.
Because because my girl, she's doing a whole thesis paper on this for her. She's continuing her RN into a higher degree, like to be a practitioner. So her teacher wants male and versus female differences, and she asks me and my twin because, well, unicorn right there. You get the male and female presented in the same age group, same demographic, yada yada. You get my point. And I say, if you see me punching my sister in public, all of you are going to want to jump up and beat my ass. Now, if she's hitting me in public, people are going to pull their phones out, laughing, look at this bitch getting his ass kicked by a girl.
Nowadays, if it's the other way around, they're going to do the same thing.
Man get too loud,
look
he's
at
aggressive.
That. The lady that get hit with the brick, everybody talking about that situation.
I haven't seen that
one. That video pisses me off.
I ain't even saw the video, and I ain't.
What do you expect us to do? Like, I haven't seen the whole thing. I just saw her afterwards with the lump on her face, and it's like, what do you mean? What you expect y'all to do? Even if you a pussy and you don't want to get the man, call the fucking police. Don't just sit there and watch her get hit.
I think that's why a lot of men don't jump in, because they're scared. They're scared just like the lady.
But a lot of them are saying,
like that. I'm in a wheelchair, and if
a lot of them are making
I'm gonna jump in.
Exactly. A lot of making excuses though, are saying, "Oh, well, she did such and such," trying to justify her getting hit. They can't. I can't even remember the stuff that they're trying to accuse her of doing, but it was nothing that deserved her getting. Outside of her hitting somebody with a brick, I can't see what deserved her getting hit with a brick.
I mean, if she was on top of the guy and going UFC on his face or something like that, I mean, But the way that it went down, just because of the video, where it was like apparently the guy was hitting on her, pressing her, and everything, and she said no, and then she got hit with the brick. That was not warranted at all.
So she said no. You should have just gave, because obviously people be saying you should have just gave them your number. No,
No.
I'm not doing that ever.
These niggas need to learn how to accept rejection and move the fuck on.
Amen.
Exactly.
You had no right to hit her with that brick, no matter what the situation was.
I just can't see a justification for it. Oh, she did something a week before. I don't give a fuck what she did.
That don't have nothing to do with that situation. They'll try to find reasons why they shouldn't protect her, because literally you're scared. Like, you in the situation that happened, you're scared to jump in. It's as simple as that a lot of the times, but instead of just being like, I ain't had know how to handle that situation, I was scared, I was in shock, I didn't know what to do. Instead of saying that, you're going to find reasons why she deserved to get hit, and that is crazy.
Yeah, no. The only thing they should have found was that his ass needed to get beat up for doing what he did.
Right.
And I'm sorry, even if all of y'all scared at that point, it was like at least 5 dudes in that video that's when she went around. Like, all of y'all could have done something to.
They could have jumped the person.
Someone send me that video. I need to see this shit.
I ain't saw, but it was there people having conversations about it, and women, oh, y'all don't want our protection. Bro, y'all will literally hear one woman say that and apply it to all of us.
Okay, baby.
Y'all say y'all don't need our protection. Y'all say y'all don't want our protection, so we not protected. And then some dude call her a creature. We not protecting creatures like that. Y'all so independent. Like, damn, y'all literally really hate us.
Her face was so freaking swollen. It made me sick.
Yeah.
It made me sick, bro. Like, I'm just like, that's disgusting.
Well, and the thing is, that's not going to heal up right at all. Who knows what bone she had broken on the side of her face, too.
Something definitely broke in her face.
She was like, I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
And it's crazy. Like, somebody told you, no, you can't handle a no.
So can I have my number? And then they said, well, girls are saying that they give out fake numbers and stuff. We shouldn't live in a society where you should have to do that. You should be able to say no and walk away.
Yep.
If I'm gonna get shot or hit with a brick, it's just gonna happen, and I'm gonna fight you back. And then, if I know you, especially, I'm coming back with my whole family.
Oh yeah. No, he definitely wouldn't have got away with that shit if it was me sitting there.
No.
And then people were saying that it was men who were there that were making videos like, I was there and I didn't help her because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, you want us to
get
know?
it. They're a bitch. But the point is, you shouldn't have let that happen at all.
Like,
That's
you want us to know that you didn't do anything?
That's the only excuse right there. You was a bitch. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I say my girl, she fucking get on me about fucking involving myself and stuff like that. You don't need me to hear everything. No, I'm gonna beat a bitch's ass.
That's crazy.
I said, I've been jumped. I had my neck slit. Ain't no one helped my ass.
Only other thing I would have accepted is you calling the police because you were scared.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That we just had a case where it seemed like all of the Black community was coming together to fight against somebody who was beating a Black man, but then it's a Black woman.
Black woman is like,
ooh, that part right there. And
that baffles me altogether.
That is the perfect example of what our society is right there. Black man gets hit. It's okay. We all fighting. Black woman get hit. Well, you see what she did last week was.
That's what I was saying to Curator. That is not how things are. Like, women, especially Black women, ain't nobody just running to your rescue these days.
I didn't specify. I was looking in general because of the paper that remember, I mentioned this paper she's doing that is male and female, and I'm a twin.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying things have changed.
Vulnerability is vulnerability, and people being pressured and harassed, that is the thing. It doesn't matter what gender it is.
It's like just down like Virginia, that a Black woman got pulled over and the cops fucking raped her on the side of the street or graped her. Do I censor that word here?
No, I don't know. It's YouTube, not TikTok. You should be okay.
I'm always flagged on TikTok.
Flags us. I'll edit it. I'll edit it. Don't worry.
All right, brother. No, they fucking pulled her over, and that's how they let her get off a ticket.
That's wrong altogether.
Yeah, it's a state and abuse of power because
Mhm.
who calls the law on the law?
That's
That's like
crazy.
someone gonna come and bash on your door. We just want to talk to you. And here, I think there's a big problem. In any kind of ethnic community, you open the door to a cop and they put their foot in your door and they don't have a goddamn warrant. You are still in private property. You are invading private property.
Yep.
So if I slam that door and break your foot, that's your fucking fault, not my motherfucking fault.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they gonna do? I assault an officer. I'm gonna get tased. Most likely, he'll get shot 18 times because he hasn't. Those bullets have been sitting too long. And then his little corporal over there is gonna reload and make sure he hits me a few more times in the fucking back of the head because he was afraid of me running away. That shit boils my blood. Oh, I'm afraid for my life. He's running down the street with his back to me. I'm gonna shoot him 6 times in the head.
And then you see a lot of women who are training, they're working out and stuff like that, so they'll be able to protect themselves, and they also still get
My sister.
berated by men. Ew, look at y'all look strong. Y'all stronger than us. Like, we don't want y'all. Y'all look like y'all starting to look like us. Y'all look like men type of stuff.
I
It's
don't
like,
understand why they think we care.
right.
Why are you trying so hard to make somebody care about something that they don't care about? That's like me saying, I don't know why you wearing red. I don't like red. Bitch, okay, you don't like red. They
Exactly.
like it. Why does that fucking matter? Why are you
Somebody like
using so much
somebody
of
like
your
it.
energy? Right.
Exactly.
Why are you using so much of your energy to say, don't nobody like that? You like it. That's it. If you don't like it, shut up.
That's that.
Because they jealous or they know they don't have a chance.
It's
It's one of
just
those
so
two things.
weird. It's weird though that internalized. I could never like you just said, Bert. I don't have a chance with her, so instead of just accepting that and staying in my lane, I'm going to hate her. I'm gonna come online every day and talk about how women like her are trash and we don't want her anyway, just because you could never date her. It's
That's
crazy.
If you
I
there's
don't
a man
understand that.
somewhere, when it comes to them, there's a man somewhere that they admire from the bottom of their heart, and they look at the type of women, or I'll stick to women. They look at the type of woman that man likes, and then say, "Oh, I should like this type of woman." Like I've had a friend that I had to tell because he was like, our homeboy like he settled, and this girl is ugly. I was like, "Bruh, are you dating her?"
My
And he
ex
was
was
like,
like
hell
that.
no. Then why the fuck does it matter? Why are you so pressed about who he's dating?
That reminds me of like when I was in college, I have girls tell me, I like your tattoos. And then, that doesn't necessarily mean they're flirting with me. But if they say that like 2 or 3 times, I might flip back. But if they say, no, I'm not interested, the next thing I'm going to say to them is, that's cool. I thought it can be awkward. We here for school. I just thought you wanted to get to know me better. And that's where you just move on from. I'm not even going to remember your name. It's like,
I'm
some
trying to
guys
get my
just cannot
daughter
handle
stuff like
rejection
that.
at all.
I don't understand how you. I mean, I don't know. I've never had a problem with rejection. If you reject me, okay, cool. Move
Oh,
Exactly.
on.
It's
that's
on.
what I
It's
was
on to
saying,
the next one. What I went by a thing when I had and I'm glad I created the game with my friend. We used to walk around the mall and we called it point and go talk to. I'm a point.
Oh,
I'm a
Lord.
point at a girl and you got to go talk to her. If she rejects you, that was it. We would move on to the next one. Okay. Have a good day. You
I
don't
had
have
a friend that used to have to ask girls. Like he called me and he was like, I told this girl, how I thought she was pretty and da 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 da, and asked for her number and she told me no, and I asked her why and she got her attitude. And I'm like, I'm just asking a simple question as to why. I was like, why are you asking her why? She said she not interested. So why does
that's
it
the
even matter the
end of the
reason?
conversation.
Yeah.
I promise you I had a situation where I talked to this girl, right? And it was weird to me because I think she was used to guys continuing the conversation, right? And so she says, I have a boyfriend. I said, okay, I walked away. And
Oh, she's waiting for the. He ain't here right now. What does that have to do with him?
she came over to me and asked me, why did you walk away? You don't want my number?
Nigga,
You said you had a boyfriend.
right. Like,
why do I need to continue this conversation further?
Yeah,
See what I
don't
did?
want your number, no.
I never asked for the girl's number. I offered her my number. If she rejects it, that's on her. I'm good. I'll move on.
Right.
I ain't gonna lose no sleep.
I think like rejection in today's society is seen as such a people don't know how to accept it in life, period. You know, and so if you can't accept rejection in life, period, of course you're not going to be able to accept it when it comes to, you know, a relationship or anything like that. People don't know how to deal with it, so they do stupid stuff. Oh well, she bitch. Like, bro, it didn't take all of that. Especially that's why a lot of times women now end up getting disrespectful in those situations. They end up getting disrespectful because they're expecting the dude to get disrespectful.
Yeah.
Now, see, it's like I keep seeing on my For You page a lot, like girls bitching about being single, and like, oh, where's all the good men at? And you see him at home playing a game. Oh, he's 30 years old playing fucking Madden or Mortal Kombat. Or honestly, he's doing something he enjoys, and you have a problem with it, so that's why you're single. It's like I play games. My girl will sit out here and watch it with me, and if she's doing her studies, like hell, we're doing this podcast. She asked me if her music was gonna fucking get this shit fucked up. It's like she's watching me do my thing. She's doing her thing.
That's another thing too, though. If I see a guy saying something about them not liking something about a woman, and I'm what they don't like, I literally couldn't care less.
Right.
I also don't know what people that I'm not attracted to is doing with their lives. It always like baffles me how you will have some people. A lot of times I see men every single time one of these women that y'all don't like post a video, you're under it talking about the fact that you don't like her. I can't tell you nothing about what men I don't like are doing. I'm not commenting under their posts. If somebody say they don't like women like me, I don't care. Like, it's like, how does it affect you to that point? You never knew this person.
Mm-hmm.
Now
you're not losing anything without them not liking you. Like, it's not messing your day up. So why are you going out of your way to talk about it?
They're either doing that to they're scrolling to piss themselves off, or they're trying to fight against it and know they like it. They just know they don't have a chance. They know they don't have a chance with you. So
my point exactly. If you don't care, then why are you talking about it?
Or they're trying to wait for some girl to prove them wrong or something like that. Like, oh, I don't like the color red. Well, I'll make you like the color red.
And the thing about that is, I'll see posts where men will talk about certain women that they don't like. It'll be 100 women in the comments that's like, well, all of us are not like that. They pick me, backflipping, they be doing all types of stuff to be seen by these men, and they will ignore all 500 of those women to continue to look at what they claim they don't like,
because they like the one that they're acting a fool for. They don't want the other ones.
They want that Mike Jones that back then he didn't want me. Now I'm hot, you all on me. They want that.
But maybe I think men are just take rejection better more often.
I mean, I had no problem with rejection. Some girl told me that she didn't like me. All right, whatever. On with the next one. Shit.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm gonna continue the conversation for. All right.
There's more women in this world than men. Just saying.
Well, depending on if you're in Asia.
That's true. In the West, anyways, we'll put it like that.
But
so it's like you get told no by one. All right, cool. Somebody's gonna like my crazy. That's fine too.
Like, I could think of one. This one is as permanent written in my brain because everyone knows by now, what is this, 6th episode, what my biological preference is. Let's say, we're at the Renaissance group, we're recruiting new people to be fighters into our group. And we have this Russian girl, and it's just automatic. After practice, we go out to eat. That's why, like the restaurants close to our practice grounds want us to come there. But we sick of that damn barbecue. We rather go to Chinese. I'm like, hey, you can come with me and Chris, and we'll go to Chinese. And she starts this thing. Look, I like talking. I like being friends with guys, but I said, bitch, you ain't even my type. You ain't dark enough. And after that girl was flirting with me for the next 5 years. But I didn't even register it. It took my sister meeting her for me to even register it, because she came to our D&D game. And she was actually one of my students. I was training how to fucking fight. I never registered it as a sexual, her flirting with me. I shut her down. I guess that fucking made her want me. And the real creepy thing is, her husband looks a lot like me.
She got the Wish.com version.
Motherfucker, I'm borderline. I'll send you a picture because it's creepy.
That's also weird too.
When me and my girl first got together,
to reject somebody or to say that you don't like somebody, but the minute that they don't want you or they move on, now you want them.
Oh yeah, because it's that unattainable desire now. At that point,
I'm in the right God, the forbidden fruit.
Human beings are weird.
That is true.
That's a forbidden fruit, man. But the reason I'll never forget her is because me and my girl, our relationship was early on. Like, we on a date, I just scrolling through Facebook, and then she pops up with her husband, and she's like, who the fuck's that? And she gets a closer look, that ain't you. I'm like, I'm curious too. I don't have a twin brother.
No, now you do. She made a clone of you.
Like you said, it's Wish.
If you don't like me, I'm cool. It is not fun having everybody like you. It is not fun having every man you come across like you romantically. That's not fun.
Exactly.
It's not necessary either. Like, what is that y'all have to have everybody want y'all?
Ego.
Instant gratification. Ego. Feeling desirable to a younger woman.
I'm cool.
I like my girls a little older.
You don't like me? Thank God, because I'm tired of curving niggas.
Right.
I need a break.
But let's move on to the story time segment if nobody has anything else to add to the Let's Fix It segment.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
The story time question is, do you have a story of a time you thought you were going to have a baby with someone you didn't like or didn't want to be with?
Not taking that one first.
I ain't drank enough. Shit.
Yeah, I've never been in that
situation. Hey, I'm the Messiah. I'm with everyone at all times.
What'd you say, babe?
I did.
Let's hear this. I'm curious.
You need some Jesus inside you. That's all I know.
No, it's not. Okay, so I didn't not like him. I just knew I didn't want no kids.
He was white, right?
I didn't want no.
I'm playing.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh, god damn. I know I'm a pale native, but at least I come with Indian hair. You still paying for
it. But no, we were together. Yeah, we were together. We had been together for some years, but it was a pregnancy scare because I hadn't, seen much, and I was like, huh. And I instantly knew I'm getting an abortion. Like, I had the plans made and everything. I had the money saved. I had already contacted my friend. She was going to drive me. I knew exactly where to go. I had already been looking up where to go, how long it was going to take. I could get back home the same day and act like nothing happened. Like, I was fully prepared. And the guy was like, have you had yours? And I was like, actually, he was like, shit. I was like, yeah, but it's cool. And he was like, so what are you gonna do? Like, are we gonna like go ahead and get married? Like I wanted to, and I was like, oh God, no, like no, I'm not having this. Like I'm not doing
Damn.
that.
Hold your horses.
I'm not doing that.
Wait a minute.
Hold
I
it, hold it.
ain't letting all that.
But go get your
By the
shotgun.
time I had already told him I didn't get married until after I had finished college, after I, lived a little, probably got my own place. The thing was, after I finished college, he was like, "So we getting married now?" I was like, "I want my own place. Like I need to know how to be on my own, how to be an adult before we get to doing all that."
I would have
And
lost interest by the
yeah,
second
I was
now.
like, I'm not having that. But he was like, "What you mean you not having?" I was like, "Not having nobody's baby. No, absolutely not."
So he didn't
He
get the
wasn't
message
happy
that you
about
just weren't
it.
into him.
No, I was into him. I wasn't having no damn baby.
How old were you?
Kids by his ass. That's
I was 20.
So
Like, yeah, I'm not. I was like, I'm not having no babies. No. So he was upset, but then like mother showed up a week later, and I was like, oh, we good. We Gucci.
I've never really, well, okay. I've only had one pregnancy scare in my entire life, but I found out that it was all bullshit. She said it because she was trying to make me upset.
Huh?
yeah.
She said that she was pregnant and that she had an abortion to make me upset.
That's just
No,
evil.
thank God I didn't have to pay for that motherfucker.
She told me years later that she was lying.
That one's about 15
So
grand.
it
in
was
my
years.
area.
Because I at one point I was like, well, I can have kids. I'm like, maybe that's like. So I've never had a pregnancy because I feel like I probably can't have kids naturally.
Oh, you thought that like messed it up?
No, I thought that that it was a possibility.
How you know you didn't have a pregnancy scare?
Nobody ever told me that they were
Exactly,
pregnant.
but that don't mean that you ain't never had that. You just ain't do.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, because I wouldn't tell nobody.
I
I ain't
The only
saying that.
time I was like, as a man, the only time I was told a pregnancy is scare is when I already broke it off with a girl, and then a month later she wants to say I'm pregnant, and then I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens in 2 more months, and well, turns out I'm not pregnant. Oh yeah, I see you're trying to trick me back.
Would you have gotten back? Like, would y'all get back with somebody? Like, if you broke up with them and they're like, "I'm pregnant."
No.
No parenting.
I hope not.
No. Why should I
That's
make that
crazy.
kid suffer? Why should I be mad at my woman every day of the fucking night? Hey, which I might accidentally take that out of my fucking kid. When I could, go be with someone that makes me happy and values me, but still take care of my child that happened with this woman.
Right.
My problems, my fuck ups, just because I thought I was going to have a fairy tale ending with this person, is not my kid's fucking problem.
There's no
Hear
way.
that from Jesus.
I'm a woman, so of course I've had one. I feel like we all do.
Was it a legitimate scare?
Well, your
Or was it
cycles can
a-
change too. So
I got sick. I'm one of those people who never throw up. And I had a day where I got sick. I was throwing up and everything. And honestly, I wasn't I didn't like that wasn't what came to me when I started to get sick. My mama was the one who was putting it like, you might, and I'm out, and I'm like, no, I took a vitamin, whatever. You know how you took multivitamins and you don't eat, it'll make you throw up because you need to eat food when you take vitamins or whatever because they make you hungry. And that's what happened. And I was throwing up, and I was telling her that that's what it was. She's like, no, you're pregnant. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking about all these symptoms that I'm experiencing. And honestly, I always have pregnancy symptoms. So I feel like we all do. I always have those symptoms or whatever. So they're always present. So you thinking Dang, well maybe she right, because at first I'm telling her no, we're going back and forth. I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. What you talking about? I took a vitamin. No, Ray, you don't usually throw up like this. You don't do this. You don't do that. Whatever. And or you've been sleeping more lately. You've been doing this. Like, well, I'm gonna call out everything. And I'm like, bruh, it's literally the vitamin. And then eventually it just started making me think like, dang, maybe I am pregnant. But when I was having sex, I used to keep pregnancy tests because you're not about to catch me slipping. And if I ever feel like I have some symptoms, I'm taking that test to make sure. But it was for my last relationship. And I definitely did not want to have kids with him. And then when I told him about it, he was like, you must want to be pregnant for me.
Like in my house, I got pads, liners, and pregnancy tests because I have a sister. So if she ever has a worry with her husband or anything like that, it's already there. And most of my friends are female, so well, it's already there. So every time I date, I'm like, why do you have this stuff? I grew up with women. I know what you need. I understand that your period can hit you at 2 a.m. and everything's closed. So, well, I just think that's being responsible adult myself.
Yeah, and I do feel like you should have pregnancy tests. If you're having sex like that, and I wasn't even having sex like that.
We use all code. Me and my girl use protection, but shit can happen.
I had mine. It was hit and miss with me and my relationship, but like he was like, you must want to be pregnant for me. And I'm like, I literally told you that I don't.
Ego.
If I wanted to be pregnant for you, I would say, hey, let's have a baby.
That was okay.
And even if I tell you that, 9 times out of 10, I'm just saying it in a moment. And next couple of minutes, I'm gonna change my mind.
See, me and my girl got in a relationship. She flat told me if we ever accidentally got pregnant, she's like, look, if we stay together, great. If we don't, you can see the kid. I ain't going after your money. I don't give a fuck about what you can give or get.
That's how I feel too. I don't really care about you like that.
I was like, if you want to be a part of his life, great. If you don't, well, fuck you. Which, I respect that opinion, but that's what goes back to the whole irresponsibility subject. I ain't trying to bring someone into the world and make them pay for one of my fuck ups or her fuck ups or our fuck ups, or just a medicine in medicine. Sometimes something just doesn't take.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just talking to you about this today, Boonie. How a lot of people use Plan B as a main thing. They come into the fucking ER talking about dehydration, puking, and all that, and we're like, "Have you had sex in the last week?" Nah. Are you dehydrated? Nah.
But some medicine can actually interfere with the birth control too. Like if you're on birth control pill or something like that, you take antibiotics, it can interfere. That's how my mama got pregnant with me.
Exactly.
Plan B's only work if you're a certain weight too. And if you start, the more you become, the less effective they are.
Say your weight will affect it too, and some like the shot will make you gain 25 pounds on average.
I gained 50.
I say, well, it's 25 per year is what we go by, because we have to go by a medium. Because the way they go about it, I am literally not giving any kind of medical advice. The way if any kind of fucking thing happens to you, you take a placebo because of a pill, and the other half of the screen is doing the real thing. If you so much as say it's my elbow itch, we have to write that down as a side effect. Because if you're part of the testing group, if so much as my elbow itch, that's now a symptom. That's why the more important ones are at the top when you look, seizures, heart attack, heart failure.
But I always be like, this happened, but I think it's because of this. So don't put that as no symptom. That's crazy.
Don't be in a testing group then.
Oh, I've been in plenty, so I know how it works.
Oh, then they haven't been doing their job right. Because if we don't write down everything, we get fucked.
No, I'm saying they do write it down, but I specify why I feel like this symptom happens every time I tell them that I had a symptom.
Oh, I'm with you now. I've had people who are like, "Oh, my arm feels funny," and like, which arm? Your left arm, and they think they're having a heart attack. I'm like, no, you're not having a heart attack. Mm-hmm. But I have to write down the symptoms.
Okay.
And then that goes over my head.
If nobody else has a story, we can move on to the next segment, which is the wealthy health segment. What are some resources that can assist people in being better parents? I'm gonna just say, I feel like y'all should utilize y'all village. Y'all be saying it takes a village, but y'all only want that village when y'all want to go out and party.
Right.
Okay.
Y'all don't want that village when it's really time to raise them kids. Because if I don't got kids, I shouldn't be giving you advice because I don't got kids. But then you want to use my resources when you want to break, or when you want to go party and you need a quick babysitter. Then it's cool. Then my help is needed. But any other thing, I shouldn't have any input because I don't have kids, and I feel like that's not fair. But utilize your village, not only when it's convenient for you, but when a person is giving you advice and they're doing it, because you could tell when a person's intentions is good or bad. Sometimes y'all can't, because y'all ego tells y'all that anybody that says anything has bad intentions. But sometimes a person just really wants to help you out, and I feel like you should allow them to.
But it's like the first thing I'll need a minute to think on that, but the very first thing that popped in my mind was happened to one of my best friends. She got pregnant young, and then, she had nowhere to go because the daddy backed out, and she had to live with her dad, and her dad was cuckoo. He was a Xanny addict, and he kept fucking holding, fucking that, having her go to the doctor, claim anxiety, or, getting street drugs for his ass. And then when she finally cut him off and moved out on her own, he went and fucking pulled the custody card for grandparents' rights, because she technically lived in Indiana, where grandparents' rights are valued. Michigan, we don't give a shit if you're a fucking grandparent. So he took his own goddamn daughter to court for the whole fact that, he lost his fix. And so he was just trying to hurt her by taking her kid away from her for a week, for 2 weeks every month. So that's just the first thing that popped in my mind because it pissed me off. So
As far as resources go, I would suggest seeing a mental health professional, a therapist, psychologist, to make sure that you're ready. Make sure that you're a healed person already. Make sure you processed all of your trauma. Make sure that you are ready to have a child before you go into that. But before you even think about doing that, before you think about passing that on to your child, like, you're doing them a big disservice if you don't. It's not that hard to find. There's so many resources now to find therapy. BetterHelp, is one. Although I'm not going to say a whole bunch of them because they're not sponsoring us yet. But if they do, then I'll shout the rest of them out.
Hey, if they start sponsoring us, I'll go fucking paint you out a sign and we can just flick it and we can digitalize it. I'll help you edit it.
Anybody else have any resources?
I would say take the necessary steps to make sure that you are prepared to be a parent, first of all, before you go into the world and thinking that you can have kids, and just don't do it willy-nilly. Be on your shit with it. Make sure you know exactly, like, you have a plan. Like, have a plan for what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Set up, I don't know, get family members. If you got a lot of family members, see if some of them can help you out when the time comes. Be there for you. Because luckily for me, like in my family line, we have a lot of people that's willing to, be there and help out. So if you have that kind of thing, make sure that it's on deck when the time comes. And if not, I don't know.
And the whole thing with the whole village thing, people don't think of who's in the village.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just want to be toxic. Some people just want to, get one up on somebody, or pay them ill will some which way or form.
Right.
So that's why I'm always very against that, because I come from a fucking tribal culture. It's like we have tribes, we have clans. Just because we're all related through belief Doesn't mean, and we're not related through blood, doesn't mean everyone has everyone's best interest, in fact. If I have a grudge against, fucking you, Rambo, I might just take this as an opportunity to fuck you and yours over. And that's what people use CPS for a lot. Because for a while, my friend started staying at my house because she was a bad woman. And a little kid moved in here. And what happened? Cops knock on my door next week. CPS. Do I have running water? Is there food in the house? Is there goddamn room for myself? Is this, that? Motherfuckers are being petty. It got so bad to the point where the cops would come to there. I could name off her daddy. I'm like, oh, Paul such and such called you. And the cop would just nod. I'm like, yep, this is the 5th cop I've seen this month.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And it happens too. People take advantage of that shit.
It happens, but I feel like those are the people that you should know who you can use for help and who you don't. Them same people that you be wanting to dump your kids off on when you want to have fun, like I said.
Well, it's like if that's your mama or daddy, how do you escape that?
You don't have to have your kids, don't have to be around your parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but if they decide they want to get involved, you can't stop them from calling the goddamn cops, because apparently they can call 3 times before you can get something on them.
Yeah, they inserting themselves, that's different. But what I'm saying is use your village, using your village, not, people butting into somebody else's business when just because you want to be petty toward them or whatever. But like, if you have people around you that wants to help you with your kids, use them. And if you trust them,
right,
of course.
You can cultivate your own village when it comes to something like that, and picking and choosing who should and shouldn't be in that circle.
Oh, I completely agree. I was just saying there's that outside factor that you can't control.
Yeah, that's true on both sides, because like some people may have family where they least expected, that they've built over time. I know some people may look at me as a weirdo, and if you see some of the people that I grew up with or some of the people that were prominent figures in my life, you might be like, well, how the hell did you become like this weird heathen dude that like metal growls or whatever? Like, for instance, my godparents, they were a major part of my life growing up. They're pastors at a church, shockingly. And they always treated me like I was one of their children. They were great parents. They had like 5 kids, right? And they made sure that all of them grew up really well. But the fact was, if I ever needed anything, I was able to call them just as fast as I was able to call my own parents. I check on them and everything. And unfortunately, I think last year my godmother, she passed away. I had a stroke one Sunday morning or whatever, and that was really sad for everybody. But
condolences, my brother.
Yeah. But the thing was, it was like, if I had questions about children, or hell, they even acted like they were grandparents to Jackson. If there was ever anything that came up, they always wanted to know just as much as my parents did. And it was an unexpected thing, period. Just because I grew up with them, I was just like, all right, they're family anyways. But they're like, that's our boy. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You have those people. Also, you have to understand too, even while utilizing your village, that those are your children, so you shouldn't be expecting people to want to, like, for instance, there's a lot of people who feel like the grandparents, they talk a lot of junk about how grandparents are different now. Oh, we can't drop our kids off at your house and stuff like that no more. Y'all aren't like our grandparents were, and stuff like that. Well, that's because they still are working. They still have to work. They don't retire because of how things are. Like, you can't stop working. They can't retire and just sit at home and watch your kids. They got their life to live still. You have to know that when you bring kids into the world, they're your responsibility. But if you have people around that wants to help you, allow them to help you. But don't expect it at the same time.
Aren't your kids those? I mean, those aren't their kids, those are your kids. You shouldn't, even if they are family, you shouldn't expect that. But as far as like them saying, I want to be able to just take my kids to their grandparents' house like they used to do me when I was little. And it's like, exactly. You was always at your grandparents' house, so why you think they gonna be able to keep your kids? They didn't keep you.
Mm-hmm.
That brings up that brings
That's
up.
common sense.
I was going to say that brings up a thought of how you yourself can have some of the most abusive parents, but then when they get to their grandbabies, they spoil the fuck out of them.
Yep.
They don't
Mhm.
even know what a belt looks like. They never heard of it.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they're not their kids full time. They're literally experiencing your kids in a few hours, maybe a few days sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's not the same thing. Like they don't have the same type of responsibility for them to have to be the way that they were with you to your kids, because they're not their kids. They're not their full time. That's the
Oh
same
yeah,
way
I would
as when
definitely
it
be.
comes. What you
I'm
said
gonna
again,
say
man?
I said, oh yeah, I would definitely be in a happier mood if I ain't have to wake up every day to have to take care of
Exactly.
somebody.
I'm gonna be
Exactly.
a little I'm gonna be a little disappointed. My kids can't piss my mom off enough to think about hitting them.
No, like that.
But come on now, if I
And
can,
she don't
it was
have to
very
deal
easy for
with
me to
them.
get to.
She ain't had to deal with them full time. Like she had to deal with you full time. She got to deal with your kids full time. So it's not going to be the same thing.
Had to deal with my
It's
sister full time too.
The look on
well,
my face when my mama had to fuss at my kids for the first time, that shit was priceless.
Shockingly, my parents have never fussed at my kid.
Like I
I'm like,
told my
what?
daughter,
that's how it be. My mom would definitely fuss at my nieces and nephews. Sometimes I'd be like, "Mom,
like
Yeah.
I told my fucking girl, I'm like, if me and her had kids, if my mom beats them, I'm gonna ask what they did. If my dad beats them, they deserved it. My dad never hit me at all, ever.
well, my dad was the same way, but that's also because he didn't have to deal with me full time."
Oh, he had to deal with me full time. He worked 2 jobs, second shift, third shift, and when I woke him up as a little boy to play with me,
So
he did not bitch. He never got mad. He never raised his voice to me. He never hit me. And that's how I became a daddy's boy, apparently. I was like, oh, the nicest parent, the one that always had time for me.
mm,
It's like, my dad's a great dad. But he always wanted kids. And I think that's kind of why, that's so ingrained in my brain.
Hmm.
before
But,
we move on, who was talking? That was you, Curator. What you said?
oh, I was saying that was my piece about my dad and how he had all these kids, but, worked 2 jobs. Mom worked a job, took care of the family best he could. But he would even go to sleep on the couch, and so he didn't wake my mother up. And I go out there in the living room, turn the TV on, and wake him up by accident, and he's like, fucking cars with me. Or they'd be watching the news, and I go sitting there next to my dad. My dad would change the channel to Simpsons, and I'm not a big fan of Simpsons, but I have a fond memory of it because my mom get mad, like, why you change it from the news? He's like, it's the same, and my dad would say the same thing. There's a new disease, someone died, and we're all gonna get killed by the weather. And he just switched it to the goddamn Simpsons because the kids were there. And he would always say when he was a little kid, he never had any power over the TV. So now that he has power over it, he lets his kids see cartoons.
Good man. Good man.
Your dad was one of those people that actually got what he asked for and appreciated it.
Yeah, fucking hero of my life. I was like
True,
66
true.
years old. I still can't kick that man's ass.
Which is also rare.
Yeah, but fucking. He always called my mom. My mom's strict as fuck, but he always says that's our angel. Because my dad was in a bad place. He was an alcoholic. He was fucking in the bad crowd. Got with my mama. He cleaned his shit up real quick because of her. So it's kind of fucking fire and ice hit each other and made water.
So before we move on to the next segment, I want to say too, I guess as a resource, um or not a resource, but I feel like something that you can do to help you become better parents is to learn, well, like I said earlier, learn your kids. I know it's hard to do that because you gotta work and all of this stuff, but you have to learn, and I mean, get to know your kids, not as your kid, but get to know them as a person, as a human being. Don't look at them as this thing that came from you, or don't look at them as an extension of yourself, but look at them as a human being that you should get to know, so you will know how to handle situations with them specifically.
In my clan, we say that a parent and child cannot be friends until you recognize them as sexual beings. So when you understand that your parents and your mom and dad both had to have sex to have you, and they recognize that you are a grown man and you have sex and can have kids, that's when you can start becoming friends. When they start registering you as an adult and not their kid.
Got you.
So I know if my English is off, correct me.
We got you. We got you, because I feel like people do get stuck in that bubble of just seeing their kids as kids, so they don't allow them room to be a human being.
Exactly.
And that's where that disconnect happens.
They're your child, but they are a human being first. They are.
They're looking at you. They're still looking at you with the knockers in your hair and the flat top.
That goes both ways, actually, because you have a lot of even adult kids that still don't see their parents as people. Like, I remember the first time I really just realized, damn, like, my mom is a person. Like, she's not just my mom. She's her own person. She has her own life. She has her own thoughts, her own feelings. Like, she's not just mom, just there for you and your siblings. She actually is a person. Like, it was wild for me at that moment.
I kind of always saw my mom as a person. It's crazy. I never really expected her to be motherly, if that makes sense. I didn't expect that from my dad neither. So, like, when people talk about like daddy issues, mama issues, or you got, because my mom and dad wasn't together, it's assumed that I have daddy issues, but I don't, because I didn't really have any expectations for my dad. And also, I was one of those kids that it was like out of sight, out of mind. If you weren't around, you not being around wasn't going to affect me because you weren't around. So it's kind of like you ain't around anyway. So like I ain't losing nothing. I don't feel like I'm losing nothing that you're not around or whatever. So I don't have any resentment or nothing like that toward him. Do he get on my nerves sometimes? Yes. Do I recognize some things with him? Yes. But I don't like, I'm cool regardless.
I mean, I feel you on that. I always realized that my parents were people first.
Yeah.
Just because of the way I grew up. There were a couple of things where when I was a kid, like the whole bonding thing, like between the ages of like, 1 and 5, where like you're madly like enamored with your parents or whatever. I had a case of amnesia like at 6 and basically had to be reintroduced to my whole family. So they were all basically strangers for about 2 years after that point. So I had to relearn who everybody was, from my cousins to my sisters to my mom to my dad. And when that event happened, I remember like my parents were in the hospital when I was coming to. And, all I remember is the 6'3" bodybuilder, badass looking dude basically running out the room crying. And I'm like, well, who's that? That's your dad. Oh, well, I guess that makes sense because I had to be here somehow, but okay. Whatever. So, yeah, I basically grew up like that.
Yeah.
So
I can think of one story like that because me and my twin, we have a half brother who's like 10 years older than us. And we're just having a casual conversation, and somehow we got into sex. And I asked my dad, so what, did you use condoms your entire life back then, or did you ever try to risk it? And then he just chimes in, why would you ask your dad that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to a fucking grown ass man right now. Why are you afraid to talk to your dad? You got fucked to be here, right? You know you're the product of an orgasm.
Right.
At least on one end, not both ends.
I,
I was
Damn.
just about to say maybe.
Please keep that one in.
one thing about Curator, he gonna cover all bases. Okay.
You're gonna understand what Curator's talking about one way or the other.
Oh, he gonna cover all bases.
My grandfather's a fucking unicorn for this shit. I'm this pale, I'm white passing, I'm native, and I date black women.
Like I said, you're invited to the cookout, bro. We all know this.
Boy, I am at the cookout. I'm the one that talks to the cops. I have the glasses. How you doing, officer? Let me whiten my voice up a little bit. Oh, what's going on? I'll snitch on anybody. No, Edwin, he's a great guy, but good boy. And Rambo, oh, that's just a nickname. He loves the movies. Boonie couldn't hurt a fly. Ask Ligba. B, I don't know. She won't show her face, but she with us all, and she with me, so we good. Okay, that's enough of my white voice.
But there's nothing else to add. We're gonna move on to the What Would You Do segment. Usually I get questions from off of the advice columns, but since time has gone
Expired.
time has gone on, we're going to skip that segment and just say that don't forget to email us at royalgeniuspodcast at gmail. I mean Royal Genius
Entertainment
Reviews.
Reviews, yeah.
Royal Genius Reviews at gmail.com.
How you both say it wrong?
I said it because I'm looking.
You're gonna get it at some point.
I'm looking at Social Psychopod, so I just
Royal Genius Reviews. Come hate me for being pale.
But email us at royalgeniusreviews@gmail.com if you have any questions or if you need advice, and we will respond as best and as quick as we can. But for the last segment of this episode, which is the Black Life segment, what do you fear the most about having children in this society?
How fucked up the world is. And for them to see it.
I second that.
Same
here.
Same. The world that they have in this house is not the world they're going to be exposed to when they get older. And we have no idea what that's going to be like, because the generation our parents grew up in is not where we grew up, and it will not be where our kids grow up. So definitely terrified of that.
The world is ever changing.
My prediction for this next few like 20, 30 years is not that good. It's not good. We going through a real bad tumultuous time in society. So yeah, I fear that they're gonna be raised in a fucked up society.
What you're thinking of, Royal, this old Japanese curse that they wish that they wish you are raised up in interesting times, as in times that are going to make history books. Bad times. That's what they said to America after the bombings.
I feel like it's been that way since the beginning of times.
Right.
Because people always be saying back in the day it was a lot better. No, it wasn't. It was not a lot better.
They're erasing history on a constant basis. We're relearning things and then they're erasing it all over again.
The way it was better is that we didn't have access to what's going on in California and the fires like we do now.
Yeah,
we don't know that
reason why it was better because we were away. We didn't see it. Yeah. That don't mean it was.
That don't mean it was better.
I'm not saying
it's better.
I'm not saying it's better in a definition. I'm saying they say it's better due to ignorance.
Yeah, right. Due to ignorance, because you didn't have to see what was going on in the rest of the world. So if bad things were happening in your area, it just seemed like it was that area, but really it was happening all over, and you just didn't see it.
And the thing is, we had to grow up to see it. We would grow up and then be like, "Oh shit, Compton is just as bad as New Orleans."
Right.
I bring her in on this one.
I really feel like for social media, there is good and bad in that way, because we get to see, it's good because we get to see all of the things that's happening everywhere, and it's bad because of that, depending on how you perceive things and what actions you take because of it.
Right.
Agreed.
Say that's this subject in general is something I have to think about a lot, giving my life, because like in our polls we talk about votes and mixed kids and black identity. It's like I know my kids are gonna be browner than me, and they're gonna be labeled as black, but they are also gonna be labeled as Nishabe. So they're gonna know the native culture, and they're gonna know what America sees as black culture. To a cop, they're just going to be black. They're just going to be a black woman, a black man, and if they shoot them and they're native, well, they got rid of 2 for 1 is what they're going to see it as. Because if you look it up on Google right now, you can check my facts. The way they list it is there's 164 tribes left in America. The key word is left. Of those 164, 58 of them still have their native language. My language of Potawatomi is going to be gone in the next 20 years because the last people that they classify as being born under it, taught it, and having taught it, teached it to the next generation is down to 25. We're aggressively recording these things and trying to teach it to the next generation, but it's not natural, like how you were born speaking your first language. So I have the duality where I have to teach my children that I'm going to try to keep race out of it as long as I can. They watch TV shows. I'd rather them see like Family Guy and ask me who's the guy with the black hair and be confused in between Cleveland and Crackmeyer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have to come to a point where, okay, you get pulled by cops, put one hand on the ceiling and one hand on the window. They're betting to shoot you already. If you see them touch your back tail light, they're ready to shoot you.
To be honest,
keep your goddamn registration above your visor, so you can only pull it down with your finger. Don't reach over anything. They're gonna shoot you.
To be honest, you ain't even gonna have that much time to be able to ignore it. Unfortunately, you have to make them aware, because I feel like things are getting aggressively worse as time goes on.
Did you? I don't know if you what happened. What was it? 2021 in Chicago. The Proud Boys ran through a neighborhood that's known for its block parties and shot nothing but black children. And I brought that up to one of my racist coworkers. He's like, why would they shoot the children? Because they were brown. Why not the adults? Because adults are going to age and die. The kids can bring on another generation. I'll say my tribe is, I'm a rarity in Michigan where I am. Because the Nishabe, we were sent across the lakes. We hit Chicago and Wisconsin not knowing those things even existed. And those who weren't sent across the lakes were put on, we called the Trail of Death. The Cherokee called it a tribe, I shouldn't say just Cherokee. Other tribes called the Trail Teals. And walked to Oklahoma. When you hear jokes about fry bread and things like that, they gave us flour knowing we didn't know how to cook it. We didn't know what to do with it. Fry bread was a goddamn creation out of necessity to eat. That was them getting their little peace with their God that, hey, we gave them food, but we didn't tell them what to do with it. So I have that duality, which I'm not going to stop loving who I love. I'm not going to go and marry someone who's of my tribe or anything because, it'd make things easier. Or marry, someone I don't care about because it's easier. Like, my children are going to have 2 cultures, and we are blessed to have 2 cultures. Black culture is beautiful, and if it wasn't for, and I believe it wasn't for the hatred put on natives and black people, we wouldn't have the greatness we have in our cultures. Say, there wouldn't be a first black president. Martin Luther King would have stayed a pasture. There would have been no civil rights. There would have been a Malcolm X. There would have been no addressing anything that's wrong from human being human. As pale as I am, if you need a heart and I died, would my heart work in your chest? That's what it comes down to. We both bleed red. We both have children. We both come from women. Women give men life. And to the day you die, as long as you have a belly button, you have your mother with you. And that's why us natives are very, at least in my tribe, we're very matriarchal. The women are our history keepers. And I'll even go as far as the Kota tribe, which I have friends in that. Because if you see movies of natives and you see blackface, that's that whole reason for that is to hide themselves from the Creator, because they believe, because they knowing are murder. They're murdering, not for food, not for resource. So they're trying to hide their face from the one that will judge you. So I'm in the duality where I'm going to have to teach my kids both ends. And I'll have people that will argue with me. They're brown, you need to do the black culture first. And then I'll have people argue with me that your culture's dying out, you do this culture. And, my partner right now, she understands both of those. And it's a hard subject, and I know I've been kind of prattling on, so I'll let you guys interject.
No, it's cool. You should just definitely do
It's a soft spot.
Tell you what's first and what's second. I feel like from the time your kids are born, both of those cultures need to be taught to them. It's important.
You'll find your way.
Right, and that as well.
Yeah. And I just think it's sad that, I have to think about, I'm going to have to teach my kids how to get pulled over by the cops. I'm going to have to teach them how to react when they're leaving reservation or if they want to visit a reservation. If they go on res, they're fine. They come off res, that's when they're the ones. And everyone always assumes they're rich because of casinos. It's just like, they're born into a world built by people who are already trying to segregate human from human to human to human. All of us on this cast are from different backgrounds, different medias on, TikTok, Instagram, and all that. And we all sit here. I could see us all sitting around a table having a meal and just bullshitting.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Like if we get that con thing doing, that's what like I said, I want to film that. Us just all sitting around. And it's the thing. Because, as this podcast grows, I promise you, I'm going to be the first target viewer saying I shouldn't be here.
We don't have that type of environment. So we ain't even trying to attract people like that. But I know, of course,
it will happen.
It's gonna happen, of course. But we ain't giving the energy.
Who gives a damn?
No, you're all my cousin.
That type of energy.
We gonna stump it out real quick.
Hell yeah.
We don't got that kind of stuff. We don't invite that kind of thing on our platform.
Oh, like they were trying to do the when I first started the Social Cycle podcast. It was the men against women thing. The men are not getting, the women are dominating the conversations. The men are not getting a chance to speak out or whatever. They were trying to do that type of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I ain't gonna say I feel like it worked, but we ended up becoming mostly women and royal. So I feel like it kind of works.
It's like
it didn't work. It didn't work because of that. It's because the people that were on before weren't committed to this and weren't taking ownership like the people that we have now. Like it's a big difference when you have you take pride in what you're doing on this. Going back watching these episodes too afterwards, because me and Boonie got to listen to these episodes a couple times before they come out.
It's like you and me were talking about that, Royal. How I've been reviewing myself because
we got to analyze what we're doing. Okay, I could do this better, type of thing. Like
when it comes I got to try to figure out my lighting, because when I go in my office, it's all brick, and I'll be echoing the whole time.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when I see you guys posting videos on YouTube, I'm taking a glance at them like right after when I post them up on my page too. I'm like, hey, take a look.
Oh, by the way,
you guys do amazing work.
Little thumbnail up because y'all keep blocking out.
Huh?
On TikTok, when you post this shit, your thumbnail of your page is literally right over my profile picture. So we see
Talking
everybody. We see
the
Rambo. We
profile
see Bert. We
picture.
see everything. And that's why I said, man, you take my land, now you take my profile picture.
Yeah, I got the joke, and I did the thumbnail, but
I did that because both
it wasn't
Royal and you,
strategic at all. Let me
you
tell
and
you.
Royal both has hounded me for my profile picture. I'm
You
like, I
weren't-
just sent it to you.
You literally was the last person, so that's why you ended up right there. I had everybody
me a little too bit to the
except for
left.
yours, so that's why it ended up like that. It had nothing to do with who it was.
I know, I'm fucking up, y'all. Like I said, I call you cousin when we're talking. I ain't flirting.
I know you joking.
I was like, movie
That's why I
intro,
told you
that way Bert
please
can't
when you
overshadow
said
me.
that.
Wait, what?
That's why I said please when you said it when I saw you when I saw the comment. Please.
Oh, I figured you would know I was joking.
But
I was
yeah.
like, that's an easy fix. I was trying to click on the thing is I was trying to click on Bert's page and it fucking wasn't registering it. Apparently I'm hitting the background but not hit his icon. Because he's like a centimeter off.
Oh yeah, he was right under his thing.
And that's what made me make that comment. I'm like, man,
Yeah,
you take my lane. Can we move my fucking shit off?
Between y'all, but I could have put your picture in the middle, but I don't know. I tried not to do that because when I'm thinking about how it's gonna be posted on there, I tried not to do that so your picture wouldn't get blocked. But either way, the social media websites are set up different, all of them.
You know, just put me at the very end of the list. I'm okay with being in the back of the bus. It's cool now.
Episodes with most people, it gonna be different. It ain't gonna be the same every time.
I'm going to hell.
But if there's nothing else to add, we can end the episode right here.
I said my piece on all that, but that's, an isolated case that most people won't think of. So I do think if anyone who integrates as either a white person, Mexican, or anything with a black person, they do need to take into account their child's blackness and how cops, law, and other people will assume of them. Because especially if they travel the world, if you're even slightly brown, they're going to think you can rap, dance, good at basketball. Because you can go to Japan today, and if this gets us flagged, I will fucking bring up the goddamn tourism video that there is still Japanese only bars, restaurants in Japan.
Mm-hmm. They don't want anybody from any country in there besides their own.
Say, you been to Japan too, Bert?
Y'all think that's wrong?
All right, there we go. I'm not the only one to say that's what I need.
Y'all think that that's wrong?
Oh yeah, it is. Because here's the thing: is if you're Japanese in Japan and you knock me in the face, I gotta run away. Because if I come up, I'm going to jail, and you're fine.
No, I mean for them to want only their spaces in certain spaces.
I don't think it's an issue because
I don't think so either. Because that's their country.
And Japan is predominantly Japanese.
Right.
It's one of those countries where it's like it's not a hodgepodge like America or Britain or something like that. It's just Japanese people.
I guess that they're wrong. I feel like Americans, because we're so used to being able to go anywhere and just exist anywhere, I don't think nothing is wrong with people wanting their own spaces.
I'm 50-50 on the whole ordeal. Because, I mean, like, usually when you're in places like that, what if it's really good? What if I really want to try it? And you're telling me I can't go in there?
But you can't.
And I'm just like... And when I was there, it was like, okay, fine, I just can't go in here. I'm sure there's somebody else that can make, whatever I wanted somewhere.
If it's that good, I'm gonna make a Japanese friend and be like, hey,
honestly,
I did that.
I really truly feel like all the food is gonna be good over there.
Facts.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a problem because it's their space. Like we always have to create our own spaces. Why should somebody else feel so entitled to get in our space when they have free reign over any other space that they can go to? You can go to any other place, but you are trying your best to come into this space. Why?
Because I'm hard-headed.
because they said you can't. Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with people wanting their own spaces. I feel like
I have a question. Did you choose your space?
No, we didn't.
We weren't able to choose our space.
But that ain't got nothing to do with them people.
Right. And we
That's
had a right,
why
and we had a right to create things like that now.
And I feel
But I
like
mean,
when you become a
That's
person
more
who
of the reason why they should have their own space, because they didn't choose, like, we didn't choose our space, so we have to create
and
our
that's why we
spaces.
should understand it because of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like yeah, we didn't choose our space or whatever, but we would be just like the people that didn't give us a right to choose our own space if we go to their spaces and feel entitled to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Say we allow anyone to come to our spaces that we are allowed to. You can
We
walk to a
do,
powwow today.
everybody not like us.
Yep.
That's
Say
just
just
something
because
we
I don't
gotta
look
accept.
Japanese, I can't walk in.
Oh,
Oh
please
no,
believe,
you're not allowed in my space. I'm gonna say that right now.
I please believe there's certain spaces that I intend on creating that's just for Black people.
I feel like we should have spaces
We
like that.
we gonna have spaces where we hire people where it's because you Black. Like
we should have spaces like that, but I feel like a lot of times we don't, because we know what it feels like not to be welcome. So we want everybody to be welcome. But that's also, if you're taking on something like that, if that's what you're gonna do, invite everybody to see your space, you can't feel some type of way if they don't want to do it.
Say I'm not arguing
You
that.
can change it. You cannot invite people.
I'm not arguing that. So, well, what I'm going to is like just bare basic. It's a sign. So my child could go in, my woman can go in, but I can't go in.
Yeah.
Go find you a spot to sit down and tell you how it is
Like,
when they come out.
Yeah, we would never do that, but yeah, I feel
No,
like
I
we're
know you
allowed.
guys wouldn't. I'm just trying to, like you called me Boonie. I'm the
And
voice of
also,
controversy.
when Black people, you have to understand too, Curator, when we say our spaces, the only people that we don't want there are white people 99% of the time.
Oh, I thought we were talking about
99
Japan still.
99.9% of the time, the only people, when we say we just want our own spaces, the only people we don't want there would be white people.
Oh no, I'm not arguing that. I'm not
So we
trying to
wouldn't
make
even do it to them.
I thought we were still talking about Japan.
no, I think they moved on from that a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're talking
because
I'm wrong.
And there's a
it's still
thing that was trying to sue a Black woman's company because they cater to women of color.
What?
I see no problem
When it
with
comes
that
to like
because
homes and stuff like that.
I misunderstood. I thought we were still talking about Japan.
I mean, what we were talking about still applies to that. Like you said, we don't own any
The
spaces.
Japan
We
takes it a
don't.
little too far because look up the Japan's legal system. They won't even let you sleep if you're in jail. They won't even let you sit down.
My only advice is don't go to Japan.
don't get in trouble in Japan.
It's still their place. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's right. Did I say anything that was offensive in that? Because I thought we were talking about Japan still.
It's not offensive, but still, they still have that right.
We can have this debate, and people gonna get offended because the way that I'm gonna hire is I'm hiring the people that don't get the opportunities in other situations. When we get an editor finally, please believe it's gonna be a person of color. We're not hiring whoever works for Paramount Pictures because we hiring in house. You know what I mean?
100%. You should be allowed. In that day country, I'm like, I don't care. If I'm not wanted somewhere, I don't want to go where I'm not wanted.
Exactly.
And I got a dog puking.
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
No, the whole fucking thing is like, I was thinking more at my end where, I thought we were still on Japan. But no, I wasn't trying to cause no shit.
You're good, bro.
I've been to Japan, wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I've heard some things about it.
Because just me and my partner going down the street was a fucking problem. And, well, that's never fun. And then, I'm allowed in certain places, but she ain't, and then all that. But, if you guys came up to Michigan, I'd happily take you over to my tribe, and, everyone wouldn't blink an eye.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the same here if you came here.
Oh no, I see. I know that, Boonie. I thought we would talk about Japan still. I have an extra
Curator.
on Japan.
Okay, we're going to end this episode right here.
So we stop out of the loop.
Make sure you guys interact with our video wherever you're watching it on. If you're watching it on Spotify, follow us so you can get the updates when we drop new episodes and maybe other content. We're talking about it. Also, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about this topic.
Tell me what I should dress up as like next.
If you want if you want to be on episode, let us know. You can hit us up at royalgeniusreviews@gmail.com, or you can hit any inbox on any social media site, which is Royal Genius Entertainment.
And also check out these 2 videos that should be on the screen in just a second. Click on either one. Check out our reviews. Also in our lives. It's a lot more content than just the podcast, guys.
And I say, I'm always here to piss people off.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Bye.
We love y'all.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.